forgot to turn the video on when I started painting on this. So I'm just continuing to paint on my tornado-y thing. And hopefully you can hear me. If you can't hear me, turn the CC on, the closed captioning, and it should be able to read my words. I talk kind of softly, and I guess that comes from, like living alone and not really talking with anybody, really. I mean, I rarely hear my own voice, so you know what I mean? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But some older people might understand. So, not really knowing how tornadoes look. Just basing it off of things I've seen in the past. They got like these walls that come before. Anyway. Yeah, so that's what I've been working on. Just, I'm using, I bought this, set called Shades of Gray. This might be backwards, but it's Shades of Gray, so I'm just using different colors of gray in here. And you can see I covered up the clouds that I had in there before. I didn't like how that was going, so yeah. When you don't like how something's starting to turn out, just change it. Just do what feels kind of right to you. And this is my own particular tornado, so it doesn't have to be like a real one. It's my own. And it's interesting. I used to have tornado dreams all the time, and I'd always be like trying to run away from tornadoes in my dreams, and the tornadoes would follow me. And when I tried to analyze or figure out what the heck that dream meant, I realized that in my subconscious, tornadoes just mean something that's really big that I'm dealing with. And my dreams are just trying to show me that I'm dealing with this thing. And it's displaying it as a tornado. So that's what tornadoes kind of mean to me. And lately I feel like I've had a lot of tornadoes. And I don't know about anyone else, but when I start getting tornado dreams, it means that I need to start writing down all the things, stuff and things that are, right in front of my brain, and maybe I've been ignoring them or something, and I need to just, it means it's something I need to take a look at. And so basically, by the time I take a look at it, you know, the dreams stop. And it's kind of interesting how that works. You know. So I don't know. It's if you're someone that's having a lot of traumatic dreams, it might be worth looking into why maybe this particular image is the one your brain is using to tell you you need to look at something. Because if you don't look at it, you're going to dream about it. That's just, I'll tell you the truth. That's what happens. That's what our brains do. They never shut off. They're always thinking. You know, and they're always telling us what's going on the inside. So that's just my little bit of wisdom today. Actually, I'm going to insert in here later on in this video a little bit about radical acceptance, what that is and how that works. And it might help you, it might not. But when I remember it, it really helps me. So that's why I want to share it. And I like to share the things that help me, because maybe they will help someone else. And that's why we're here on this planet, right? To help each other. It's funny how, like, this whole thing turned into a big tornado scene. Wasn't planning on that at all. And you know what? A lot of times when you paint, you end up covering up a whole bunch of stuff you did before. It's just a normal thing. Just a normal thing, a normal part of painting. You end up covering up a lot of what you did. You know, unless you're a perfect painter, but that's not me. I'm not one of those perfect painters, so I end up doing a lot of cover up, and I do a lot of starting over. So this is kind of far in the background, but I want to do swirly because I just want to mix that in a little bit. I think that's rain falling back there. From these clouds. Eventually, I think I might make it look like it. But if not, that's okay too. This is my world. This is just all about what I'm feeling right now. So, and not all of my world is like this. It's just some things in my world are like this right now. And those some things happen to be big some things, so, for me. Alright, so like I said, this tornado, he does not have to be like what all tornadoes look like, because like I said, I don't know what they look like. Not unless I sit and stare at a picture, and I don't want to do that right now. Hello. I just want to talk a couple minutes about what radical acceptance is. It's something that I learn in my DBT classes, and that it really can help me, especially when I'm having depression. Um, Last time I talked about willingness and how you need to become willing to do something, to, do something different other than just sitting in it. And the only way to do that, you become aware, and then you accept. And so that has to come before you can have any kind of action. And what radical acceptance means you're all the way in. You're completely and totally in acceptance. Um, Acceptance with resolve. It's accepting with your mind, your heart, and your body. You know you've accepted this thing, whatever it is. That you're no longer fighting reality, you're no longer throwing temper tantrums about it, because things aren't the way you want them to be. Um, and you've decided to let go of your resentments, or in other words, you can see the um, what's the word, uh, fatality and having the resentment, because it's going to kill you if you're going to be sitting in a resentment. Eventually resentments will kill you. um, that's what I think cancer is, actually. I think it comes from having all these resentments sitting inside of you, and then they just keep growing and growing and growing, you know. And that's what I think. And so the more you work at cutting these resentments out of your life, the healthier you can become, or the better you will feel, the less suffering you will have in your life. And of course, according to Marshall Linehan, the one who does the DBT book, DBT skills training book, it's one I've got. Um, Practicing radical acceptance are in these few steps here. You observe that you're questioning or you're fighting reality, like saying, it shouldn't be this way. It just shouldn't be this way. It should be some other way. So, looking at what kind of energy you're putting into a thing or a thought. You remind yourself that the unpleasant reality is just as it is and can't be changed. It's just a fact. You're looking at a fact. This is what happened. When I went to such and such a place, this happened. You know, it's just a fact. This happened. So remind yourself that whatever this unpleasant reality is, it's just something that's happened. Remind yourself that there are causes for the reality. Acknowledge that some sort of history led you to this point or this moment. Say, like, if you have fear of being left out, and if you got that big time in your brain, that could be leading you to, you know, a place where you're not going to accept reality because you got this fear that's running your brain. So you have to, or that's one of the causes that you need to check yourself for. Consider how people's lives have been shaped by a series of factors. Notice that these casual factors of how history led up to this moment, this reality had to occur just this way. This is how things happened. That's just stating another fact. This is how it happened. This is what happened. This is how it happened. Practice accepting with the whole self, mind, body, and spirit. Be creative in finding ways to involve your whole self using accepting self talk, but also consider using relaxation, mindfulness of your breath, mindfulness just of your, what's going on in your life right now. If you close your eyes and you just listen, what do you hear? What do you feel in your body? What is your mind telling you? You do that by, while also having willing hands, putting your hands upwards and flat, like as if you're willing to catch a wall or something. So you're when you do that, you're sort of opening yourself up to the moment. Practice opposite actions. That's something that you can do. List all the behaviors you would do if you did accept the facts. Then act as if you already accepted the facts and engage in those behaviors that you would do if you really had accepted. It's just something you can try. Another thing is coping ahead, it's called. That's where you try to find ways to deal with a certain situation you know is coming up. Like if you've got a difficult situation coming up, and if maybe you wrote down um, things that you would do that's going to keep you safe, or things that you might say and in a way to keep your boundaries with people. You cope ahead, you find ahead some ways to deal with it. Or if you're going to a party and you don't want to drink, you know, you find uh, a way to deal with that fact. Like maybe don't accept that party invitation if you can't handle being around alcohol right now. Or maybe you bring a soda and you commit to drinking only that soda. You do what is going to work for you. You cope ahead in a way that's going to work for you. You know, what somebody else says might not work for you, like the soda idea. I mean, personally, it wouldn't work for me. If I was in danger of drinking, I would avoid the situation altogether. Altogether. That way, that's coping ahead for me. So sometimes saying no to social situations is a way to cope ahead. Attend to body sensations as you think about what you need to accept. Like when you're thinking about what you need to accept, where does it come up in your body? Do you feel a tightness in your gut, a tightness in your chest? Are you feeling uncomfortable in your back, your arms? You can attend to those sensations by maybe doing some yoga, maybe standing up and using some weights for, like, I don't know, 3 minutes, and just raising and lowering your arms holding weights. Sometimes when I don't like to wait for coffee in the morning, I get a little bit of that, I don't know, not pissed off, but like boredom maybe. I'm bored standing there waiting. So what I'll do is the yoga forward bend. And that's just bending over from your waist and reaching down to your toes. And just enjoy the stretch and breathe through the stretch and keep breathing. And if you'll notice, if you do it, the more you breathe, the more you exhale, the lower you go. It's really interesting. I might start halfway up, and by the time my coffee's done, I'm touching my feet. My hands are on the floor. So that's tending to your body. Allow disappointment, sadness, and grief to arise within you. That means, don't ignore it. When you're feeling sad, when you're feeling disappointed, when you're feeling grief, feel your feelings. They're your feelings. Allow yourself to feel them. You know, soak it in. I mean, even put on like sad music if you really want to cry, or if you're really just so disappointed, maybe write a letter that says how disappointed you are. Maybe only you see it, but you're getting all of that out. You're allowing yourself to feel it. And that's really important because it's hard to accept things if you don't want to look at them. And then acknowledge that life can be worth living even when there's pain. Because just the fact that we're alive, there's going to be pain. There's pain and there's pain. But if we suffer with that pain, that part is the choice. The suffering part is the choice. So when you can do some of these things, like I'm learning in DBT, you learn how to suffer less. And I think that's important. And it's done a lot for me, especially since I've had cancer, I've gotten through a lot of the pain and suffering that resentments brought into my life, and um, needless suffering. And it's good, 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 good to be able to finally let those go. And letting go is not like taking something off and throwing it somewhere. It's like letting go is you've accepted it. And now, whatever this thing is that was weighing on you, now that you've accepted it, you've given it a voice, you've felt those feelings, you don't need to feel them anymore. The need to continually um, think about something that was upsetting you is no longer there. You're just you're over it. Like it's done, it's gone, it's over. And so for me, that's letting it go, because you've done something else. And forgiveness is like doing something so that you can let go. You're doing something different, and you've let go of the old way of thinking and the old way of feeling, and um, it's no longer part of your life anymore. New things will come, I promise you. Depression seems to be like that for me. It goes in cycles, but the reasons behind it tend to be a little different. Um, or I shouldn't say the reason behind it, because it's like a physical thing, really. The depression is, but what triggers it sometimes is a little bit different. It's not always the same things anymore as it used to be, but anyway, here's to feeling good today and being able to accept the day for what's here now. And I hope you're having a good one. And I hope it's beautiful where you are. Bye now. Thanks for watching my video.